custard cream. Oh, brilliant. Let's get a shift on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Who Corner. Episode 6 of my weekly review show. I'm Lewis Moon, by the way. Today we've got for you Who Will Help. We've got for you some a Series 11 sort of. Have I got that? I don't know. There'll probably be something else as well, and we'll have a bit of a preview for episode 7, Kerblam. But the main gist of things is my review of Demons of the Punjab, which is episode 6 of series 11. If you haven't watched my previous reviews, you'll know that. By the way, I'm filming this on Armistice Day, so that's why I've got the poppy. There was a reference to that in tonight's episode. Sorry, tangent. Anyway, if you've watched this show before, if you you will know that I have not been too much of a fan of Series 11. I thought episode 1 was a good introduction. I thought episode 2 was pretty dispensable, but fun. Very flawed. Episode 3 was good. Episode 4 was quite bad. And episode 5 was terrible. So, things have sort of been at a weird quality in terms of varying qualities. This week, obviously I went into it with very, very low hopes because I didn't know whether I was going to like it or whether I wasn't. Because of that said varying quality. You may be pleased to know, I did like it. Overall, I thought it was a nice little episode. Again, it's not perfect. There's a lot of little nitpicks I have with it. There's a lot I didn't like about the episode. But overall, I thought it was probably the second best episode so far, just behind Rosa. In terms of it had that emotional kick. But I don't think it did it as well as Rosa did. I thought Rosa was a better episode as a whole, because it was really good. I really liked Rosa. And this one I did like again, but it didn't quite reach Rosa levels. I thought it felt like a Hartnell story, a First Doctor adventure from the 60s. In terms of it did feel quite like a play, and the stories in the William Hartnell era always did feel quite play, and obviously it was the pure historical and the educational stuff, and I didn't know about the partition or anything, so I learnt a bit more during this episode. It was an episode which centred around Yaz as a character, Mandeep Gill's character, and you may know I've been thinking Yaz is okay. I thought again she was okay, probably her best episode so far. I'm just not feeling her character yet, and that's not a good sign, because we have had 2 episodes that are quite based around her. However, I don't feel like we got to I don't feel like I like her character or care for her character. In many ways that weakens the episode, because it is a very Yaz-centric episode. And if you're not the biggest fan of Yaz, then you're not the biggest fan of this episode, and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I am a fan of it. I thought it got Series 11 back on the right track. Saying that though, Yaz probably isn't my least favourite companion anymore. Ryan is, and that's because for about 3 episodes in a row now, Ryan's just been standing around there doing nothing, and he just feels a bit pointless. Doesn't really need to be there, and I'm just not a big fan of his character. I think he's very bland and textbook. Graham, I thought, again was the strongest companion this week. Last week he wasn't brilliant, but that's because the content... There didn't really need to be any companions whatsoever last week. If so, there needed to be one. And I still feel the TARDIS team is too cluttered, because every episode there's at least one of the companions which doesn't feel developed enough and doesn't feel like they play a part in the episode. So I think there should be 1, maybe 2 companions, Graham and Yaz maybe. But I like Graham. I thought he had some nice moments, but it wasn't Graham's episode, so it wasn't his strongest episode. Jodie, though, I thought this was her strongest episode. Jodie, I've quite liked her, but I just think she's been written quite poorly, and I think she's very a mixture of Tennant and Smith. And this week's episode, she had a bit more control, she had a bit more anger, which was good. I think we needed that control and that anger a bit more. And we got a bit more of an emotional range this week from Jodie's Doctor, rather than just that chirpy, positive, friendly, sometimes irritating person. I think the episode looked beautiful. Again, the series is... I've complimented this every week, but the series is visually stunning, and this week's episode did look spectacular. It looked beautiful, and I really liked that. The score was different. The score's very similar. It's very samey. Every episode is pretty much just the same thing, and I thought this week we had more on the front of the score in terms of music. I like Sagan Akinola's music, but it is very repetitive quite a lot of the time. So this week's episode was a bit of a change in that respect. I think the villains, visually, they looked more interesting. However, they weren't really villains, were they? And this series, it again shows that there's not really much threat to Series 11 at all. The threat is awful for this series, and I still don't think that's improved. There's not really any standout monsters. I can't remember their names. There's just... the monster for this series are really not very good at all. But yeah, I'll be happy to go back and rewatch this one. Last week, usually for my podcast, or our podcast, I do it with Dr. Cool over at Podmatic at Doctor Time and Space. If you want to check that out, we drop on Wednesdays. And I usually go just in time for that on a Tuesday. I go and rewatch the episode and jot down some notes. Last week I didn't, because it was just so painful to sit through. The first 4 weeks, yes, I was okay with, even with Arachnids, which wasn't very strong. I was still okay to rewatch it, but it shows, if I didn't rewatch it, how bad last week's episode was. This week I'm happy to go back and I'm happy to rewatch it. And I'm sure there's a lot I'll pick up on, and I'm sure I'll be more critical on the podcast, and I'm sure when I've had more time to dwell on this week's episode, I'm sure I'll be more critical once I've rewatched that episode on Tuesday. But, again, too much sonic screwdriver use there. I'm just getting annoyed by that. You can see why this episode isn't as strong, and that's because it isn't written by Chris Chibnall. And episode 3 was written by Mallory Blackman and Chris Chibnall. This episode was written by Vinny Patel. So it just shows when you get a guest writer in, you're going to get a much better story than you would if it wasn't by a guest writer. So, yeah. Vinny Patel. Can see him being a one-time writer. You may be looking back at this in a year's time and he's been announced for the next series, but I can see him being a one-time writer. But look, hopefully the next 3 episodes can again be better and get Series 11. If each episode is like this sort of quality, I think we could get Series 11 back on the right track. It still wouldn't be brilliant, and it still wouldn't fix the first part, which wasn't brilliant. But I think if every episode is like this or is like Rosa, which it won't be, then we can make Series 11 great again, as Robertson would have said. I think we should go and see what the Who Will Help corner is doing this week. Hello, and this is filming, isn't it, Gilbert? Yeah, ignore that. Hello, this is another edition of our infomercial about Who Will Help. We will, that's what Know Who. Yes, that is our tagline, if you hadn't known already. If you hadn't had a chance to listen to our or watch our infomercials, well, if you're seeing this, then you're doing both. Then what we do is we go around the globe to help you with your Who related problems out there. We're sort of like a Who can never think of a word for it. Sort of like a helping thing, you know? That's sort of the most technical term I can come up with. Anyway, it seems as if we have someone on the call. Hello, I was just wondering whether you could help me with my Who-related problem. Anyway, I can't lean too far up, because if I do, then I believe my head will break or something. But, you see, I wanted you to help me because my husband, he's got a real fascination with Doctor Who, and I heard you could help me with my Who-related problems. I hate the show, personally. I think it's terrible. So my operator's telling me otherwise. Anyway, I hate the show. I think it's atrocious. So I was wondering whether I can. I can't tell my husband this because he's been watching the show since the very beginning, and I don't know how to tell him. It would break him apart. So could you help me? Thank you. Thanks. Bye, loves. Okay. Don't you worry. I'll be over there right away. Hello there. You okay? Yes, sorry, I've got a bit of a head problem. Sure. No, Gilbert. It isn't. Anyway, look, what's your name? Michelle. Michelle. Okay, Michelle. I know how to solve your problem. Can I get your husband over here? You can't tell him. You can't tell him. Please don't let him know. Okay, then who else can we tell about this? Because I have no solution to this. This is an emergency. I've never been put in such a position as this or in Who Will Help. So who else do you know who can help this? Well, there's my friend Tom. He's a fan of the show as well. True. Yes, why are you covering your mouth? I just noticed something, so, I thought I'd cover my mouth, because then that would be good. Okay. Yeah, no, not anything, It's not anything to go, about, sorry. Anyway, what was it that, what was it that you, yeah, who's Tom? He's my friend. I think he'll be able to help us out with this. Okay, does he have any, old, could you just sit down a bit lower, please, Michelle? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyway, yeah, could you get any old Doctor Who books or anything? Does your friend have any of these? No, I think he does. In fact, I'll call him over. Thank you. That'll be of much assistance. So every week we go down to the Who meter to see what I rank. Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. The Who meter was ripped up. It's not there anymore. I'm not going to create a new one. Let's see if I can find it. Oh dear. So, I have managed to find... Wait a second. Oh no. The slightly ripped up Who meter. It's not going to go on the wall. It's here in 2 parts, and I really need to, like India in 1947, and I really need to make a new one, really. So I can't show you the Who meter this week like last week, but I can tell you exactly what I'm doing, because that's the sort of thing they do this series. They show and not. They tell and they don't show. Anyway, so, we've got, on this side, which you can't see, we've got the ratings of this series. We've got 1 to 10, and then we've got the episodes. I mean, 1 to 10, and then episodes like that. And then we've got performance scale, where I rank each performance from each of the cast members out of 10. So, in terms of an episode, I've rated it at about 7.5. I was quite impressed by it. Overall, it was better than I was expecting. It wasn't anything... This pen's running out. It wasn't anything brilliant. But it was certainly much more... I would take this any day over the stuff that came out the last couple of weeks. Jodie Whittaker. She'll get an 8 from me this week. I was... Even though... Wait a second, I've got to get a different pen. My pen stopped working. Does that one work? I'm guessing this is thrilling for you at home. Bradley Walsh. Gonna give him a 7 this week. Mandeep Gill. I'll give her a 7 again. She wasn't too bad this week. I'm just not feeling the character. Her performance was good, but she just... the character itself isn't. Tosin Cole, I'm going to give him a 4 like last week, because he didn't need to be there. It was like he didn't exist for most of it. That's the Who meter for this week. Hopefully by next week we would have fixed it. That would be good. Last week I introduced you to Timmy the spider. It may have been the week before, I don't know, because we had a bit of a spider infestation, and Timmy was the Only one that remained. And John, of course. I am going mad. But, Timmy, what's coming up next? Oh wait, spiders can't talk. What's coming up next, you may ask? Well, it's another edition of Who Will Help? Part 2, if you like. Okay, so, Tom and Michelle, I'm just holding you up because otherwise we can't see you on this infomercial, and we need you on the infomercial because we've got to give you a credit at the end. Anyway, Tom, we were wondering, you're a fan of the show? No, I'm not actually. You're not a fan of the show? No, I'm not actually. I'm not a fan of the show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. No, not Buffy. I'm talking about Doctor Who. Are you Sheryl Crow? No, I'm not Sheryl Crow. Why does everyone keep confusing me with people who made Bond songs? Anyway, can you stop going anyway? There's nothing to go anyway about. No, I suppose there isn't. Do you know someone who does like Doctor Who has Doctor Who merchandise, so Michelle can read up on it and she can become a Doctor Who fan, and the husband will never know. Hello there! Oh, hi Timothy. How are you? Hello! I was just wondering whether you were talking about Doctor Who by any chance. There's a new season on. Have you heard? A new season! Yes, in fact, Timothy, was it? Yes. As little talking as possible, please, guys. Anyway, it's the anyway thing again. I mean, yeah. Why were your lips moving just then? Yeah, I don't know why they move, it's just a weird automatic thing. Anyway, talk as little as possible, please. Timothy, why can you spit it out for goodness sake? Do you have any Doctor Who books we could borrow? Doctor Who books? Doctor Who books. I don't know. In fact, I do have some Doctor Who books. They're up there. They're John's. So this is a book called the Universal World Records. No, it's not called that. It's called the Book of Universal Records. Yeah, can you read it for me? Not all of it, please. I can't read all of it. You're here to help, aren't you? It's a bloody good book. Oh, who are you? I'm her husband. You love Doctor Who, don't you, darling? Yes, of course I do. Tell him a fact about it. What? Tell him a fact about it. What? Tell him a fact about it. Are you deaf, for goodness sake? I thought you were here to help. Yeah, why were your lips moving then? I was just... I don't know. I thought you were here to help. Who will help? Yeah. Yes, I am. I think I'm gonna leave now. Yeah. Wait, you're not going anywhere? Until she's named a Doctor Who fact. Go on then, Michelle. Yes. The Doctor's greatest weakness is sound. Sound, you say? This is something I never knew. So I can go, yes, she named us fact. Go, go, go. Go off, go. That was a lucky escape. That was a lucky escape. I'm sure you can all agree. Can you edit that out? You don't have an editing software. That's useless. You're so Miss Lewis Moon in 2017. Anyway, if you have a Doctor Who related problem, then we will always be there to solve it, because we are Who Will Help. We will, that's what, no who. Yes, we will, that's not what who. No. Yeah, I got it right. There we go. I do need the poster. That is a proven fact. Until next time's infomercial, guys. Yeah. Okay, Timmy. He wasn't actually talking. That's the thing. This isn't funny. This just isn't funny. And I want to be funny. I want this show to be funny, but it really isn't. It's not funny. Next week, it's episode 7. Yes, episode 7. Christ. Of series 11. Kerblam! It's called Kerblam, and it has the Doctor and her friends go to an intergalactic Amazon sort of place. It's like Amazon, but it's like a retailer, where Lee Mack's working, and Julie Hesmondauer from Corrie, and there's all these worker people, and Ryan's in a purple high-vis jacket, and it's all lovely and smart, and there's a creature that looks like the robot from The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, and it looks quite like a Sylvester McCoy story. It's all okay. It's got a terrible title, and the worst title I've heard since Delta and the Bannerman and Paradise Towers. But yeah, Kerblam. Again, lowest possible hopes. I'm worried for next week's episode. Just worried, really. It's not written by Chibnall. I think it's Pete McTighe who's writing it. Is it Pete McTighe? I think it's Pete McTighe who's writing it, who is a Doctor Who fan. But Chris Chibnall's a Doctor Who fan. Yeah, it just all looks very, as I say, Sylvester McCoy, and in my opinion, that isn't a good thing. It just looks very like something from the Sylvester McCoy story, a bit like the Saranga Conundrum, and I really don't want that. I really don't want something Sylvester McCoy, because that's a bad sign. And it's called Kerblam, which means my estimations have actually gone Kerblam for this particular story. Because, why would you call your episode Kerblam? Pete McTighe or Chris Chibnall or whoever named it must be mental. Kerblam? It's just not, it's not a good name, and Demons of the Punjab was an okay title. This just isn't. Yeah. I'm not necessarily looking forward to next week's. It's got Lee Mack in it. That is what I'm looking forward to. I don't know what he's playing. I think he's playing a character called Dan Cooper. Probably a mechanic or something. He has a gun in some of the promo shots. You wouldn't see that in Not Going Out, or Would I Lie to You? And it's just it just doesn't look great, to be honest. I haven't actually seen the actual trailer yet, to be honest, because I went and recorded this, and I haven't actually had a chance to watch the trailer for the next episode. Wait a second. Yeah, watch the trailer now, and it's very, very Sylvester McCoy. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see as always, but you know, let's not go in with much hopes whatsoever. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for having patience and watching me today. Whenever you're tuning into this, I've had fun doing it. Hopefully, you've had fun watching it. Timmy says goodbye, so I say goodbye. We're having electronic doors put in, so that'll be done soon, and that means the whole door system is relying on electricity. One thing I would mention, I don't know why I mentioned that, I just thought I'd point it out. I would mention, this little guy needs your help. On Friday, we will be doing a special edition of Who Will Help here, not Who Will Help, the Who Corner, here on Miss Lewis Moon, Friday, probably about 5:30 UK time, and just, you know, please, it's for children in need, so please could you go over and donate and fundraise, and we'll have more details on how to do that there, but and you know, we'll have thank yous and all that, but please go out and do something for children in need this week. Donate to children in need, because it's for the best possible cause. And as always, I have lots of fun doing my special editions and my special live streams, and I try to do something live that's a bit different each half year when Comic Relief or Children in Need come around. And this week I'm doing a special edition of the Who Corner, and there's Who Will Help live, and there's some games live, and we've got lots of special new little clips. So please tune into that. It would mean the world. So thank you.